come on with a quick word for y'all today. I have a episode 106 of my podcast uploading, and I want to add something to it. That episode is about not judging a book by its cover mainly. Yes, treating everybody as you will want to be treated. It speaks to Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2, where God speaks to be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. Not judging a book by its cover, treating people how you want to be treated, regardless to um, social status, money, demographics, all of that kind of stuff. And it's only a win for you. Because, friend, God sends most of his power, most of his blessings in the most unassuming of vessels. I've never seen God send tremendous gifts to the worthy in obvious vessels. It's just not his nature. But I want please check out that podcast. It's a profound word in that. But I want to speak to um, the ability to keep going regardless. I did the Bible study. Was it the Bible study on David or the podcast on David? And David getting to a place, a turning point, where David is like, I got to face the facts here. I have to see this thing for what it is. No more living in paradise. No fairy tales here. I need to see this for exactly what it is. Uh, a lot of us have gotten to that place in our lives as well, where we are big girl and big boy enough to really face a thing for what it is. And in doing so, there's a ton of power in that space. Now you can triumphantly move in whatever direction you choose to. Whether it's you are waiting on venture capital money from some third party to assist you in the growth and the expansion of your territory, whether business or whatever that is. You've been waiting around hoping somebody come and like your stuff and pick you up and dust you off, and they just haven't. Whether it's you've been waiting on that significant other to come back or get their mind right, so that you've been holding up your love life thinking you guys are going to get back together and hopefully be a union again, and now you're in limbo waiting on that, putting other people off that might be a bigger blessing to you, so you can go and revisit your yesterday because you're used to it. Whether it's whatever the situation could be, whatever it is, you're waiting on somebody. And just like David, he's waiting on coming to an agreement with Saul, and for waiting on Saul to bless him and forgive him for something that he didn't even do. For Saul to overcome something that wasn't even worthy of all that Saul had made it into. And now David is at a place where he's like, I don't even care anymore. I give up all hope. I've come to the reality that I'm going to have to turn my back on my own house. I saw this coming and I've thought about it so much that I'm actually okay with it now. And that's what he does. He turns his back on his house and he goes and partners with their biggest and most formidable enemy. It's the only alternative he feels like he has. And then that doesn't work because his enemy knows his love for his house and his enemy doesn't trust him. He thinks this is set up. So his enemy kicks him out. And David has to go it alone. That's where many of us are. We're going it alone. But hasn't it always been that way? You're waiting on that perfect business partner to come. You're even thinking about backpedaling to old people that you work with that didn't work out, and you know all the problems that come with them. But you're looking to maybe overcome them this time because you know what they're like. And you can expect the unexpected better this time. Going back to that old relationship. Because at least you know them. You don't even have any hope that it's going to be different. You just know how to handle the difficulties better. But I encourage you to try to go it alone. I am. I have more than enough faith that the God that has birthed me into this life and has led me throughout all of my many hills and valleys and have lined up all of the angels to come in assistance to me in the most unassuming of vessels to help me out of the miry clay of my life will assist me in building this new structure up. No more waiting on somebody else to find me worthy and jump through hoops in my personal time and try to appease them to make them like me for something that they should never have disliked me for anyway. To make them see in me things that I have laid at their feet that are unique, strange fruit that they don't find anywhere else. No longer am I looking to partner with people that I even inspire and don't even get a thank you for. I'll go it alone. I take my chances on my own, like David. And I'm willing to bet God has something in store for me. Just as God had in store for David, and I'm willing to bet God has something in store for you the same. You see, when David finally came to the realization that David had to go it alone, that's when everything began to work. All the mechanisms began to work in David's favor because David had given up any idea, any hope of it being any other way. Saul would be removed at his own doing by the people he was most afraid of anyway, and not at the hand of David. It would not be David leading them to the victory of Saul. God would create a situation where Saul's enemies and those that David will partner with would exclude David from the equation, keeping David's hands clean. And it would look like failure to David. It would look like rejection to David. But it was protection. It was keeping him in alignment. It was keeping his life resume clean. The Philistines would overtake Saul and all of his children. David would go and the love of his men would be tested. And they will look to wage war against David and harm him. And this last and final test, David would pass with flying colors. Against all odds, David would seem like he lost it all. And at that pivotal point, David would encourage himself. He would remember, friend, God will send fire down from heaven in the form of thoughts to David to remind him of the truth. Fire only comes with truth, friend, because nothing can withstand the fire and be unclean. Nothing can stand within the fire and not be consumed if it is not of itself and if it is not clean. Fire is the world's most powerful purifier. And God would send thoughts in the form of fire down from heaven in David's mind, and David would remember, and David would encourage himself in God. He will remind himself, I don't need any of this. I'm fine just by myself. I don't have to encourage anybody to be with me. Those that will be with me are ordained by God to be with me. And there's nothing anybody can do to change that. I'm going to keep on going. Whether they call me scary, they call him a coward, they call me lazy, they call me unmotivated, all of that. Let my life resume speak for itself. I have given birth to beauty in the most chaotic of times, under impossible circumstances, with nothing, with no resources. I know who I am.